room. They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives got 3 baby mamas. The president got 3 baby mamas. He's getting pussy left and right, right? He's cool. He's the one saying, say whatever the you want. So now conservatives have become Democrats. So I don't think I've changed. I just like the dudes that get pussy and say whatever they want. So it's very, you want me to be a Democrat again? Get some pussy, tell me to say whatever I want. I'm there.
What? Hey, Schulz, that's the dumbest thing you done probably said your whole life. And I don't even know you like that, but I can bet my last dollar that's the dumbest thing that done came out your mouth. What? Why? And how? And this right here is why I hate politics. Because you will have, now for whatever reason, politics is like a popular thing. And it's not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It's like something that, you know, the nerds, you know, those who like to add up the numbers and those who like to read a bunch of books for no reason. Like, this is supposed to be something boring, which is up my alley. I like that. But now it created such a atmosphere of grifters. Like, you can do anything, and if you attach it somehow in some way to politics, and more so conservative or Republican leaning, you will like make money off of that. Like, it's weird. And when it comes to people like Andrew Schulz, which once upon a time, like when I was watching him, probably like, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, he was, at least to me, someone that was like a normie. You know, like, you know, his jokes had politics undertones to him, but like, he would never get into the weeds, into the details. He would just tell funny jokes when it comes to politicians or whatever the case is. But now it's like Trump was seeming like he was winning or going to win. And now that he won, it's like he went full MAGA dumbass. You know, and it's like, it's obvious he doesn't know anything about politics whatsoever, has no morals, no standards, no strong position on anything that's concrete, and he can articulate why he has that position. No, trust me, I've been watching for a year and a half. It's nothing even close. But yet, now he's interviewing politicians, he's on these shows talking about politics, and it's like, you're asking, which I have nothing wrong with comedians. Hey, Bill Burr is one of my favorites. But like Bill Burr said in one of his interviews, he's not a politician. If you have these political questions, go talk to a politician. So, but for whatever reason, this whole right-wing Republican like podcast type of vibes they're trying to get, it's making them money. And that's the only reason, I guarantee it's the only reason he's venturing off deeper into politics. And let me show you. So this is trigonometry. And this is a right-wing Republican podcast here. And Andrew has no idea of politics from back then to even now. Just take a listen.
Votes coming up here, and the right are in power, and they're going to start doing some pretty dodgy things. And those comedians who've come out and been pro-Trump, that leaves you in a pretty difficult position now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends. Like, if you were, like, this is why I didn't go to the inauguration. I think it was very generous of them to like invite me. Mm-hmm. But I felt like showing up at the inauguration is like this endorsement of them. And like, I'm on that team specific. I'm on Team America. So like, what's best for America?
Now, I'm Team America. That's a easy way to say, hey, I don't want to pick a side because then I'm going to have to justify what my standards are. And it's easier if you say you're Team America, because then you can kind of wiggle in and out if you want to. You don't have to be held accountable for what you believe in. And that's what he's doing, obviously, because it's a grift. Because once Trump gets unpopular or start doing some real evil stuff, he can just wiggle on out and be like, I didn't really support him. I didn't really endorse him. I just made some funny jokes. But let's continue.
I have optimism about the administration more than the last one. So yeah, I'm like, I hope it works. When they bring up some tariff shit, like, I don't know if I'm financially illiterate. I don't know if tariffs work or not, but I'm like, this other shit wasn't working. Let's see if this works. Like, I have optimism.
I don't know nothing about tariffs, but I know this isn't working. So let's maybe educate yourself. You got nothing but time and opportunity. You got the money, so you have the time. Educate yourself. You're talking to politicians. Ask these questions and educate yourself. Invite people that can teach you some things. That's number one. Number two, if you don't know what's wrong the first go around, what makes you think person B is going to fix it if you can't even articulate what is going on the first time? You said your financial literacy. So what makes you think it's not working? And if it's not working, what does person B propose to fix the financial problem? I mean, so many like basic questions that you're just like freestyling yourself through. And it's just a bunch of surface level conversation because you know you cannot handle going into the weeds because you're not built like that. You're just a basic comedian. You're not like a DL where you can actually talk about policy and history. No, that's not you. You ain't built like that. You just do funny on the surface jokes about politics. And it's evident right here. But okay, that's not even it. Let's listen.
But I don't really believe in like endorsement. I don't believe in like taking a side per se, because I think it's hard to do comedy when people like know your side or know what you're already going to say about a topic. Like, I want to surprise you, you know? Now, that being said,
now that's the grift right there. Once I heard him say that, oh, you're a grifter. Like, you don't want to stay on a political side because whoever's hot that moment, you want to be able to exercise within that. Because if you say you're a Republican and let's say some, you know, AOC or if Bernie Sanders or someone like that actually becomes president, then you're going to look like the asshole. Or if Trump actually wants to become a dictator and start doing some really, I mean, he's already doing some crazy things, then you can't distance yourself from that if you say, hey, I am a Republican. You don't want to take accountability for your rhetoric that you're putting out there because, hey, you supported Trump. I mean, it's no, you're not hiding that. You can't hide that. We got videos. I've been watching you. So you've been supporting Trump. But now you're like, I mean, I'm not really supportive. I'm just like hoping for the best. Like, no, that's what a coward says. And you're a coward. Hey, don't look surprised. You're a coward. But that's not even a juicy part.
like, I'm sure people will label me in whatever way they want, and they're allowed to do that. And there are people who think I'm like some right-wing MAGA lunatic. You know, there are people who think that I'm like this like centrist, you know, try to appease all sides guy. Like, whatever, like we said, Rorschach test. Whatever you already feel, that's what you'll see.
You sold out, man.
Yeah, of course. I sold out. Every direction, I sold out.
That's what I find funny is like everyone who tries to have any semblance of balance is always getting accused of selling out. When it's like, it's quite a normal position not to be entirely convinced that one side has all the right answers.
Yeah, who believes that? And also, it's like the sides switch so much. You know, when I was younger, like Democrats were cool. They were getting their dick sucked in the office. They were like, right? They were like supportive of like hip hop music. They said, do whatever you want. Like, we don't want to be in your bedroom. They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives.
So I'm confused because aren't Democrats still supportive of gay people, trans people, black and brown people? What are you talking about? And the whole getting just sucked, like, what does that have to do with politics? I mean, what does that have to do with policies? I don't know, but it gets weirder. Trust me. Listen.
They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives got 3 baby mamas. The president got 3 baby mamas. He's getting pussy left and right, right? He's cool. He's the one saying, say whatever the fuck you want. So now conservatives have become Democrats. So I don't think I've changed. I just like the dudes that get pussy and say whatever they want. So it's very, you want me to be a Democrat again? Get some pussy. Tell me to say whatever I want. I'm there.
What? Hey, Schulz. That's the dumbest thing you done probably said your whole life. And I don't even know you like that, but I can bet my last dollar that's the dumbest thing that done came out your mouth. What? Why? And how? So, I don't even know what to say. So now it's cool. You support Trump because he has 3 baby mamas. And he says you can say whatever you want. What is hey, this is why. This is why right here. Voting for someone, no policy whatsoever, okay? Like, that's the boring stuff. You're voting for him, or you voted for him because he's cool, because he has 3 baby mamas. I want to say people like this, we should restrict their voting rights. I know, trust me, but hearing his explanation on Democrats switching up, he never switched, but like the Democrats switched their whole messaging at some point throughout history since he was a little kid. And now he's like, it wasn't me who changed. It was Democrats. Because Democrats don't have 3 baby mamas. And unfortunately, it's not Republicans that says you can say whatever you want, because last time I checked, they were trying to deport individuals for speaking up on behalf of Palestinian people. I mean, hey, I don't hear nothing. Does that sound like someone who says you can say whatever you want? He's literally trying to shut down or segregate other news stations because they speak bad about him. Does that sound like someone who says you can say whatever you want? I mean, in the whole baby mama thing, which still I don't even know how to inject that into politics, but you support a man, like you are a new dad. You support a man cheating on his pregnant wife. I mean, cheating is cheating, but that takes a whole nother evil type of man to cheat on his pregnant wife. Not with a side chick, a porn star. I mean, hey, how bottom of the barrel do you really need to get, bruh? But no, leave it to Schulz. That's the cool thing to do. That's what's going to get you his vote. Andrew, hey, I know you look surprised. Andrew, stay on that side. Unfortunately, we don't need any idiots poisoning what the Democrats, more so the progressives, are trying to do. That's just my opinion. I don't want to associate myself with idiots like you who... But that's not even a story, though. But let's go ahead and listen to Phil DeFranco talk about Andrew Schulz inviting Pete Buttigieg onto his podcast. And I listened to the whole entire thing, and you can see the griftiness throughout the whole entire podcast. But Phil DeFranco kind of captured,
I can say that word. And wow,
the important parts of this thing, because it's just a headache listening to that guy talk.
Everything they talked about, I'm going to link to the video so you can watch it yourself. But we should definitely talk about moments that have been getting a lot of traction online, including this part barely 10 minutes in, where Pete explained the necessity of government research.
The federal government could not have invented the iPhone, right? Like, I don't think any of us would want a phone that was like invented by the federal government. But what makes the iPhone work? Well, among other things, the internet. The internet was literally invented by a federal research project. And it would never have been possible to invent the internet with a private company. Companies can do multi-billion-dollar ideas, but a trillion-dollar idea like inventing the internet,
right,
that requires basic research. And that's the kind of thing the government's supposed to do, among many other things.
It requires basic research? What does that
mean? Yeah, by basic research, I mean things that are so fundamental that you actually don't know for 50 or 100 years if they're going to have a return. They might never work out.
Oh, right? Yeah, you can't look at it as this thing that's going to be profitable.
With Pete then noting that it's different from, say, research a pharmaceutical company does to create drugs with a specific intent to make money on those drugs. Right? It's not about the profit element, to which Andrew added.
Public parks is another version of this and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like you can't privatize the public park.
Right, this is the whole idea of public goods, right? This is why we have governments, why we collect taxes.
God, we're turning into such libs already, dude.
The war on academia,
To me, that was, and throughout the whole entire interview, he were giving those vibes. Like, he didn't really give off that smug type of MAGA attitude that we seen recently. Like, hey, Pete Buttigieg, how many baby daddies do you have? Can you tell me I can say whatever I want? He didn't give those ignorant vibes. He was actually engaging in conversation and asking basic questions that Pete actually did a good job answering. But it wasn't no I'm just not really trying to choose a side type thing, I'm just looking for a president that got baby mamas or baby daddies. Can you imagine if Harris was actually known to have multiple baby daddies? Do you think Schulz would have voted for her? No, of course not. He'd probably make jokes and move on.
Cuts to cancer research, the cuts to science research, this kind of like general anti-science atmosphere that I think is emanating from the administration. Like, that costs us in ways that don't show up on, a corporate profit and loss statement 6 months from now or a year from now. That starts to really cost you over time. And if we're shorting that, or if corporations and extremely wealthy people don't want to be paying into that through taxes, that is, I think, a classic example of a kind of short-term gain that causes long-term pain.
Even though there is obviously joking involved, you had a lot of people noting that it seemed significant that Schulz said that he was living out for a second. And so with that, you had people writing things like, this is why these conversations matter. A lot of the hosts and audience would never hear a message like this one, but when they do, it makes sense. And others claiming, and like clockwork, hasn't been 24 hours yet, one of my friends who voted for Trump, who listens to the Flagrant podcast all the time, texted me saying that he was surprised, never heard of Pete, likes him, and if Dems nominated him, he'd vote for Pete B in a heartbeat. And that was, far from the only clip getting attention, right? You had things like when talking about Democratic messaging compared to Republican messaging and where the left is failing to communicate policy ideas. Andrew had Pete kind of pitch what he wants for the country.
I want everyday life to be better.
That's what they want too.
You get up in the morning, yeah, but importantly, like all the controversies are over what that's like. Like I want you to be able to get up in the morning and the first thing you do is you commute to work, and by the way, if you're on an EV, I want that to be affordable for you. Or if you're on public transit, not to get back into the subway situation, but I want you to have good public transit to get to where you're going. And then when you get to that job, I want you to be paid well. And if you're about to have a kid, I want you to know that you're going to have parental leave when you have that kid. And if you don't want to have a kid, I want you to have the right to choose whether to have a kid, which means access to birth control and abortion and those things that give you the freedom to decide on that. And if you already have a kid, when you pick them up at school, I want that school to be good, not having its funding slashed while they set fire to the Department of Education.
And that list just went on until they said,
Cut that. That's fine.
And with that, you had people saying things like this, every word of this is the way, this is how you talk to people. And repositioning the left as the party of true and maximal freedom is possible if it's framed like this. With others saying this is evidence that Pete should run, and others saying that any Dem who can't go on a 3-hour podcast where they get challenged by the host shouldn't be the nominee in 2028. Though this notably is not.
Now, when it comes to Pete, and I probably said this in a few videos, but when it comes to Pete, yes, he is an established Democrat. I haven't heard anything progressive come from him. But if it came down to Pete, Kamala, and I don't know, not Joe Biden, but like someone that's just full of shit, right? I would choose Pete in a heartbeat. Hey, that's on the shirt right there. I would choose Pete in a heartbeat because he seems at least a little bit more genuine than the others. And he does have answers. It may not be the best, but he can at least hold a conversation and at least tangle with the best of them on like Fox News. I like that. But of course, he's not progressive, at least to my standards, but he's better than a Joe Biden or a Harris. So there you go.
Not everyone thought that Pete's choice to go on the podcast was smart, with some saying, don't do this shit. Pete shouldn't have sat with this bigoted asshole. He doesn't care. He returned to being a piece of shit immediately after. Though with that, you saw a lot of pushback, with people arguing things like anybody mad about Pete Buttigieg going on Andrew Schulz's podcast is not serious about winning elections. You have to meet people where they are, not expect them to come to you. The question you should be asking is why your favorite Democrat isn't going into the lion's den and defending our values. Also, with that, I think it's worth noting that once you go into the comments section of the episode, you have tons of people very open to Pete and what he's saying, right? Especially since this is coming as there's a much larger conversation happening about where the Democrats go next. Because, it's not a secret that the left ain't doing so hot right now. With the seeing and hearing voices getting louder and louder saying, we need some ideas. We need to change things. And so with that, some of the actions we've...
So now he's going to kind of swing into something different here. But to kind of add on to some of the people that were commenting on Pete Buttigieg on Andrew Schultz's show, one, we can't focus on someone like an Andrew Schulz because he's already incentivized to be a grifter. Like he's going to go all the way MAGA as far as he needs to continue to get a check. And once it starts to not become profitable, he's going to swerm his way back to wherever makes the money. It's that simple. It's that easy. So I don't go watch these videos to see and collect the opinion of Andrew Schulz. One, whoever he's bringing on, I want to hear what they got to say. But then the person like Pete Buttigieg going on to the show, I would say shouldn't try to convince the people he's talking to around him. Like, yes, if you can change your mind or some minds, sure. But what you're really doing is, he's racking in millions of views. Those are the people you want to talk to. And I think that is what matters right there. So if Andrew Schulz, throughout his grifting, accidentally stumbles upon good politicians and some truths and something that will actually feed people, cool. But that's the only thing that we should be taking from those type of shows. Don't hinge everything on someone like an Andrew Schulz. That's not it. He's not the one to do that. But Other than that, guys, if you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Blue Sky link in the description down below so we can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.